Hi, this is Nancy with the Camino Experience, and this is my first ever live video. I want to welcome you. I'm hoping to explore some new ways to deliver information to pilgrims to help you get started on your Camino journey. So, just a quick introduction to me. I am the person who is the voice behind the You on the Camino de Santiago podcast. And I also run the Camino Experience, which takes groups on the Camino. My first walk was in 2005 from Pamplona to Santiago, and I had to skip a few sections due to knee problems, so I went back in '07. I walked every step from Roncesvalles to Santiago, and then I swore I would never be back. Well, that's not how it worked out. I've been back every year since then, about twice a year, and I've helped a lot of pilgrims get started on their journeys. So lately, I've been thinking about courage, and it's come up for a couple reasons. One is I often get people say to me, "Oh my gosh, you're so courageous. You're so brave for walking the Camino." And it's really interesting because for me, it never occurred that way. For me, it was just something I did. I went and landed in Spain, found my way to Pamplona, and walked the Camino. You know, before I walked the Camino, I'd done a lot of international travel. I had been to India by myself. A single woman showing up in India is a bit of an adventure. I'd traveled to several countries in South America when I was working for Citibank on business. Showed up on my own. So I was no stranger to international solo travel. So for me, that wasn't courageous. But there are things that do require courage for me, and one of them is talking to you live on video. I think of myself more as a behind-the-scenes podcast girl, but I'm taking a big step out, finding my courage and talking live on Facebook. So what is courageous for you? What does that mean? Well, let me share another reason why this came up recently for me, and then I want to give you 5 strategies for finding your courage to walk the Camino de Santiago. I've been taking a class at my church, the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa. The class is on the Serenity Prayer. You may be familiar with this. Let me read it to you. It says, "God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference." Okay. Well, this week's class was on that third line, the courage to change the things I can. So it got me thinking about courage and what do we do to fortify ourselves or to find that inner courage to walk the Camino. The instructor shared an article with us on courage by Amy Ava, and it's from the Greater Good UC Berkeley publication. It's an online publication. I put the link for you in the notes. But what I want to do is pull out 5 of her 6 tips and adjust them a little bit so they apply to us when we walk the Camino. So the first one that she says, oh, by the way, this is not in the order that she's doing them because I wanted to put it together more for our purposes here. So the first one I'll talk about is to clarify your values. That's what she says. But what I'm going to say is clarify your reason why. Why are you considering walking the Camino? Why on earth would you take that much time away from your life, away from your family and friends to go walk the Camino? Clarify that reason why. Spend some time contemplating why you're doing this, and then imagine yourself on the other side in Santiago having done it. Imagine yourself connecting with pilgrims from around the world. Imagine yourself landing in Santiago, you being strong and clear and brave and there, knowing that you're okay. Imagine that. And then when you start to get worried or afraid, go back to that reason why. Why are you doing this? The second thing, get comfortable with mistakes. Well, let's dial that into Camino land. What I'm going to say there is get comfortable not getting it right. Listen, if this is your first time walking the Camino, you don't have to get it right. You don't have to have everything perfect, the right this, the right that, the best place to stay. part of walking the Camino for me was discovery, was going out there and working it out as I went. I didn't realize this until after walking a couple times, but by taking that step to not know what I was doing, I was able to masterfully dial into my skills at solving problems. And it didn't matter if I got it right. It didn't matter if I'm telling you, I had the wrong boots for 5 years on the Camino. My feet hurt all the time. And eventually I got the right boot. So you're dying to know what they are, right? The brand is Oboz, O-B-O-Z. They might not work for your feet. And that's why we've got to get comfortable with our mistakes or not having everything just right. I want you to think, if you're a parent, think about parenting. When you get that baby in the hospital or at home or wherever you have the childbirth, you don't get it right the first ever, right? You're learning as you go. And then you can look back and reflect on what you goofed up on, what you learned from, and that's what enriches the experience all that much more. Number 3, Amy Ava says, look for the heroes. Well, I'm going to adjust that a little bit and say, find the people who have done it, who inspire you. Find the people who can be a role model for you. Someone who overcame their fear, someone who walked it even though they were shaking in their boots. Find someone whose voice you trust. So out there on the internet, there's a sea of information. There's Facebook groups. I think I'm in 6 Facebook groups for the Camino, and there's so many more than that even. There's the online forum, the English language forum run by Ivar in Santiago. And there are so many voices out there giving you information and telling you how to do things. I'm going to suggest that you look for 1 or 2 or 3 whose voice you trust, whose voice resonates with you, and look for their comments. Look for what they have to say and see if you can find your heart in that. Find what inspires you from listening to some of those heroes or some of those role models. When I started thinking about doing live video, I'm not kidding. I was a hard no. And I have a friend, Tiffany, who said, if you want to reach more people about the Camino, you've got to do live video. You've got to get on Facebook and do live videos. And I was like, no, it's a hard no. But something shifted a couple weeks ago for me, and I started to realize that it was something possible for me that I could do. By the way, Tiffany walked the Camino with me in September 2021, and she is magic. She is all about love and laughter. And I know that if she's watching this video, she's laughing at me, seeing me live on Facebook doing a video. So Tiffany has inspired me. She's that voice I hear when 2 weeks ago I discovered a live video challenge by a woman named Alex Carmelli, who teaches people how to go live on Facebook and how to do live video as a way to get the word out about what they do. So Alex, 2 thumbs up to you. I'm here because of you. And Tiffany, I'm here because of you. Those are my 2 heroes. Number 4, become a part of Social Force for Courage. Well, let's adapt that again to walking the Camino. Become part of the global community of pilgrims. Oh my gosh, 500,000 people at least step foot and walk part of the Camino every year. That's a big global community. I want to encourage you to join those Facebook groups, to get on the online forums and see what these people are all about. See what they're bringing back. And you can hold that image in your mind to know that there's something there for you. If you're feeling called, if you're longing to walk the Camino, something is calling you to be a part of that global community and to bring forth something more in you and in your life. Yeah. I also want to say relative to that going solo on the Camino, walking the Camino alone by yourself, isn't for everyone. Now, there are people who will tell you it's the best way to walk the Camino. And I know this is true because I walked the Camino alone for many years before I started leading groups in 2013. Walking the Camino solo is a fantastic way to do it if it's right for you. So right here, I want to give you permission. If walking the Camino solo isn't right for you, find another way. So there are a number of ways. There are groups that you can join. I lead groups on the Camino in a really special program that's really unique. What I do is I help people get started. We get ready together. We meet in Saint-Jean-Pied-du-Port, and we're together until Pamplona. And by Pamplona, you're like, Nancy, I got this. So I kiss you on the cheek and send you on your way. Now, I work only at the beginning of the trail. There are other companies that work in other parts of the trail and on other routes. So I want to tune you into Carol at Camino Confidence. Carol leads groups only for women, and she works, I think she runs groups on the Sarria de Santiago route and possibly the Ingles and Fistera and also the Portuguese. So Camino Confidence is another one to look into. So become a part of something bigger than you, and that will fortify you and bring out your courage. Number 5, see yourself as courageous, because you are. You are human. Being human takes courage. This is not an easy ride, being human. And by the way, if you've ever done anything big in your life, you've got courage. Have you raised kids? Have you started a new job or a new business? Have you ever gotten into a relationship? In my opinion, that takes courage. Making a major purchase, committing yourself to tens of thousands of dollars to buy a house or a car, those things take courage. Speaking up for yourself in a restaurant or when somebody says something inappropriate to you, that takes courage. So if you're not sure if you're courageous, I encourage you to seek those places within you. Remember those stories. Remember those things that have happened to you. When you have been courageous, take that to the Camino. I know you can do this. I know you can do this. All right. So 5 things. Clarify your why. Get comfortable not getting it right. Look for the heroes or the role models. Become a part of this greater community and see yourself as courageous. Okay, that's it for today. I want to invite you for a couple of things. One is to follow this Facebook page because as I dive into my courage and expand it, I'll be doing live videos and I'm also going to let you know that in advance. And I think Facebook will let you know in advance because I'll schedule them as events and then I can go live and there we are. Okay, the other thing is I'd love for you to join my email list. And when you do, I'll send you my top 10 Camino tips that don't usually show up on top 10 Camino lists. Okay, so those are your 2 things to do. Follow and subscribe. The links are in the description for this broadcast. Okay, well, we always say it, buen camino. And thank you for tuning in to my first ever live video. I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.